Hi guys, it's Colette. Welcome back to my channel, and this is a wee coffee and chat and a wee spirit story thrown in. Not the one from last night, but the one from last week. The one from last night I'll need to think on and think deeply on it before I can say anything about it. But hope you're okay. We're on week 5-ish and a bit of our lockdown, and we're fine. I started to feel a wee bit sad and low yesterday, and I felt that probably I'm just maybe watching too much about the virus. I mean, we need to be informed, we need to know what's going on, but you can go on Twitter and read articles and stuff, and then an hour and a half's finished, and before you know it you're feeling not so much scared but weary and tired. So I am now going to limit social media time, not so much YouTube, but Twitter and Facebook, because you can't really control what scrolls up to you, and before you know it you've seen it anyway. So I wonder if any of you are doing that yourself. Excuse me. Thanks also for everybody that's leaving wee coffees, KOFIs. They're really helpful at a time where book sales and everything are going down because people maybe don't have the money or don't want to order books. So thank you for those of you that are supporting me through the coffees in the description below, because a wee £3 coffee or a $3 coffee, they add up and they're very helpful, so thank you. I don't have names at the moment. I'll do that at the end in the next one. I like to give you a wee shout out, even if it's anonymous. I like to give you a shout out because you can be anonymous. So let's see. So yeah, how are you? I hope that you're being safe and well, and if anybody has a family member or someone with COVID-19 and they want healing sent, please let us know in the comments below, and we'll get to it. Healing isn't a cure. Healing helps the body try and fight for itself. Healing helps. It just helps, and we don't know really how or why, but it does. So I'm giving you the offer on behalf of myself, and I know for the regulars that are out there that are watching every video, they will agree with me. Some really good healers, people that don't know they're healers but are welcome to try. So please, if you've anybody you're worried about, put it in the comments below and we will get on with it. So Jim's back went out a wee bit, so any healing for that would be really good. I'd felt my breathing getting a wee bit bad a few days ago, and I was a wee bit worried because obviously I have asthma, I have chest damage, and it just was so I decided to do what I do to check where the source is. I took my peak flow, and it actually wasn't any worse than it has been in the past, to be honest. It was at its usual level, which isn't particularly good, but it's okay, and it stays around that, and it stays around that for about 10 years, so that's fair enough. And that tells me that it's not asthma and I'm not really breathless, and when that happens I know that it's the anemia kicking back in, the folic acid stuff. So I've started on the folic acid again, trying to eat as much folic acid as we can, but I obviously don't absorb it that well, and that can be shown as having an effect on your tummy, etc. So the breathlessness wasn't asthma, it wasn't a bug, it wasn't anything. It literally is the lack of oxygen in the blood that makes me feel breathless. So I'm on it, and I'm going to happily keep on it for as long as I need. The girls are doing fine. I missed Alexander's birthday, but we got a video call going and the internet is fixed now. It's not totally fixed in the house because they couldn't come in the house because everybody is locked down, but they fixed the broken cable 600 metres away along the road. So that's good. It means I can upload things in the right amount of time. The last ones that would take maybe 20 minutes to upload were taking almost a day and a half. So that showed you what was getting through the broken cable. Absolutely nothing. So anyway, we've got that, and I'm so grateful. And we're kind of isolated. It's lovely. It's it's what we were used to, but with the added, you cannot go anywhere now. So that's fine. We're not like maybe a couple that went out for meals or went out every week or had to go somewhere or had our hobbies were outside or away somewhere or a gathering. We've not really been mobile enough for that. So in a way, I would say that this is easier for us maybe than people that have been more used to an out and about lifestyle. So we're just getting on with it. I think I got the day I was quite I went a wee bit low actually. It kind of hit me from outside. Because Jim and I are seen as vulnerable, we managed to get a Sainsbury's order. No, it wasn't Sainsbury's, I tell a lie. We are getting Sainsbury's. Thank you, Sainsbury's. You're doing great. And thank you to all the drivers and staff that are keeping us going. And we're not over buying or anything and we're only using the slots that we need. So I'm very, very grateful to Sainsbury's at the moment. However, that was the order came that day, and that's fine. And Jim's got a whole thing set up of everything gets disinfected and everything gets moved from one box to another and then put by. I mean, he's literally gone back to the military, I think, and he's written notes for all the girls and what they need to do when they come in as well. So he's been a bit of a sergeant major, but that's fine. So anyway, the order had been, that was fine. And then there was a knock at the door, and as I looked out from the window, because as I say, Jim's dealing with everything back and forth, I saw that it was a delivery from the pharmacy that's looking after us at the moment. They've always looked after us, but at the moment they're looking after us even more, which is amazing. And the driver who brought meds that were not there when the prescriptions went in, they brought the prescription in, he come back with more, and as I looked out the window, he had a full mask on, which is quite right, but I was like, oh my god, he's got a mask on, poor soul, this is him doing his job and having to wear a mask out delivering medicines. And I think that's when it got to me, like, what we see from the cottage is the horses still go by with the riders. We also get a lot of runners out taking their daily exercise and a lot of walkers. And I've not seen any yet with masks on. And maybe it's because, they're unlikely to meet anybody in the lanes, but obviously we're aware of maybe 1 or 2 or 3 an hour coming along. So I hadn't been used to the mask situation, so when I saw it in the meds driver, I was like, oh. But then I got into thankful mode and was like, yeah, okay. So I think again we need a big thank you to everybody that's everybody on the front lines. I mean that, but we need not to forget that there are delivery drivers and there are all sorts of people doing good things, which is great. So let me know how you are wherever you are in the world. As I say, we're in Lanarkshire in Scotland, near the top of Clyde Valley, and the numbers are going up for cases and unfortunately deaths too with COVID-19. We're not seeing, we're not peaking yet, and we've got a wonderful First Minister. She keeps us in the loop, which is absolutely lovely, but I could see it being another week or two before we peak here if that, and then so we just have to flatten the curve, and that means everybody's staying inside and social distancing in any way they can if they have to be out. I hope you're all okay. Remember that we're a wee community. If you need healing, let us know, because yeah. So I can't talk about last night's vision because I still have to process it yet, but a lot of you know I get a lot of spirits visiting at night, and sometimes the way they come, I get a night terror with it. Sometimes I just get such a fright. There's been lots of spirits about in the last few months at night. So much so that I've been like, come on guys, give me a break. Not bad spirits in any way, I don't mean that, but there's been a few elementals as well, which means we're particularly open and we're having to shut down a wee bit as to what can come through and when. So anyway, the one that is in my head to tell you about annoyed me slightly because I felt I've let the person down. Now, when I set up the channel and whatever and the spirits come through, I'm expecting them. So they don't frighten me. I don't get a fright. I don't whatever. But it's just like if you turned over in your bed and there was a spirit in front of you when you weren't expecting it, you would jump or you would scream or you would yell out. And that's still me, because in that moment of sort of half sleep and coming to, I'm not expecting them. And that's obviously a really good time for them to try to get through. But it means a lot of the time, just as I'm getting to sleep, they're coming through, just as then I'll waken up a bit, go get settled, get some water, go back, try and get to sleep again, and just before I'm falling over, they're through again. And I mean, sometimes I've literally not wanted to go to bed. Not bad spirits in any way, maybe. So anyway, we're working on it because I don't want to stop important messages getting through. And in fact, the visitation last night kind of blew my mind, and I wouldn't not want that in any way. So we've got to do a kind of halfway house where we're letting the ones that need through, and just not any wanderers or anything, but it shouldn't really come anyway. I mean, I'm not in any danger in any way. It's just that I think we've got a build up of energy, and to be honest, a lot of the time it happens after I've spent a long meditation and a lot of prayers. The healings that I do, I tend to do at night just as I'm sitting up in bed or lying down in bed. Prayers that take about half an hour, 40 minutes, and keep adding to them, but that's okay, and I enjoy doing it then because everything's quiet, the dogs are settled, and I'm normally very relaxed, and obviously like that, that's when things will happen as well. So anyway, about a week or 10 days ago, about a week ago, I turned over in bed and there was a spirit there, but he shocked me. First of all, I saw him very, very clearly in that he had like big baggy trousers on that were caught with a belt under them. So it was like, like over trousers, like a worker or whatever, and just a normal sort of grey long sleeve sweatshirt with it pushed up, or t-shirt, with long sleeve. So he was very, very, his body and everything was quite, I could see it very clearly, but when I turned over, I actually screamed and screamed and screamed, and Jim was like, oh my God, what the hell, who is that? I mean, he doesn't say what's wrong anymore, he said, who was it? So anyway, I screamed and screamed because when I looked up, the man's face, unfortunately, was very bashed in, and there seemed to be like his hair had been scraped off as well. And he was quite distressed. I got that sort of to me, like, what's happened? And in that moment, in the teeniest millionth of a second, I got that I think he'd just been in an accident. And literally, maybe I was the nearest light you could see, maybe for comfort, or maybe he was confused. I don't know, but I got the feeling that the face injury and the head injury had just happened. But while that was registering, I also got such a fright that I was screaming, and I actually moved in the bed and hurt myself. And he went very quickly, and Jim was like, okay, he said it does sound as though he was in some sort of accident, that his face has been a bit mangled and whatever. And sometimes when that happens, the spirit will show themselves the way they are, and that's just the way it is. They don't know what else to do. So I was tempted to look to see if there'd been any accidents close by or whatever, but to be honest, it could have been from anywhere. I didn't get a name. I mean, I saw his clothes, very, very straightforward. In fact, it was his clothes I saw first, and when I looked up, that's when I saw his face was not quite there, actually. So anyway, I felt disappointed that maybe if he'd come like in a situation like this. But it wasn't that sort of situation. I believe spirit just left his body, and he was like, what's happened? Oh, there's a light and I'm going towards her. So anyway, I thought on it, and I just thought, well, I said prayers that his own people would help him over and they would be fine. So anyway, a couple of nights ago, I'd done all my prayers, whatever, turn over in bed again, and first of all saw the same sort of trousers with the belt and them up over whatever. And as I looked up, there was this very lovely looking chap, and he had a sort of roundish face, sort of sandy brown coloured hair, really nice big eyes. I think they were dark, like brown or a dark blue. And he just felt very okay. But again, as I turned, I saw the trousers, looked up, and this is all going on in a tiny second. And I looked up and saw his face, which was a normal face or whatever. But at that moment, he kind of put his hand out towards me. And in the state I was in, I just went back from it and had a bit of a screaming fit again. My neighbours must think that I get murdered every third night. I'm not kidding. I'm so glad that the cottages are that wee bit apart, or they would be saying, what does Jim do to you? So anyway, so he immediately went, and I sat up, and then the whole situation I try and hold in my head so I can understand it. In the moment of connection, I knew it was the guy from last week, and he was showing himself as he was, and the feeling I got was that he was fine, and he'd almost come back just to say a wee thank you, almost, I'm sorry for frightening you. So if I had managed to remain calm and have the conversation with him, that would have been lovely. But the way he appeared and right in front of me and putting his arm out, I was just like, ah! So I believe he did come back. I believe that he was back to say I'm okay, and I think maybe praying that his own folk came and take him over was a good thing to do. But I was a wee bit miffed at myself as well, because it would have been nice to be able to do this, and maybe when he's further on in his travels or his journey, he'll maybe come back. I don't know. I do not know who he is. I just know that Spirit had healed him enough in even just a week that when he showed himself intact in the way he wanted to be seen. And same clothes, same everything, but his face was in place, which was nice for me. So that's my story. I've got more. I've just decided, I've been trying to note these down for maybe Memoirs of a Clairvoyant too, but I keep forgetting to note them down. I should be, I should note them all down, because 3 out of 7 nights anyway is normally stuff like this, one way or another. So I'd love to know what your thoughts are on it, and also if you get wakened by spirits. So not wakened, I really am at the stage where I'm falling over to sleep when it normally happens, or I've got up, had a drink of water and come back and I'm going back into sleep. That's when it tends to happen with myself. So I'd like to know what you think on the story, if you're interested in me telling them, because I would probably tell them further down the line in a book, if I could remember to just open the file and put it in. And I'd love to know what you think about that. And please know that I'm safe. There's nothing bad going to get in this house in any way, and I don't want to stop important messages getting through, particularly at this time. And I just feel I was possibly the nearest medium for that chap, and it was really nice of him to try and come back and reassure me. And I'm so sorry if you're hearing me just now. I'm so sorry that twice I screamed and screamed at you. So sorry. Anyway, I'm going to go now. I'll come back on, do some more chat. Keep safe, and I'll love yous and leave yous. Many blessings now. Bye.